Hey y'all, welcome back to New Slang. I'm your host, music journalist Thomas Mooney, and we're closing down the week with a good one here. It's with the Red Clay Strays. More specifically, it's with Drew Nix and Andrew Bishop of the Red Clay Strays. I mentioned it at the top, but I first saw and met them on a Tuesday night at the Blue Light Live here in Lubbock, and it was like their first show in Lubbock. I, and along with some other friends, we were really just blown away and basically started buying as much of the Red Clay Stray stock as possible. We've kept up ever since, and really this podcast has been in the works for a good minute now. We've had a couple of obstacles come up along the way, but we finally got it done. Long story short, a couple of shows back, we didn't have time to fit it in, and then this last time they were here, we were going to do another one in person, but they had a little bit of bus trouble, so we opted for the old Zoom call instead. And lucky for us, we got a few more stories out of it. You'll hear more about that all in a minute. But I really love what Drew, Andy, and the guys are doing musically. It feels like they already have a distinct sound and a feel that's, of course, like rooted in this 70s Southern rock, like Allman Brothers feel, and some of that 50s Elvis. But it is ever evolving, and they're finding their way. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see how, like young bands, they grow and they morph in those early formative years. What are those things? What are those moments, those watershed moments that make them go off into a certain direction? They officially do have a few songs out right now, and of course, if you go over to YouTube, you can find even more. But I promise this is going to be one of those bands you want to be paying attention to. I think they're going to go off and do some really great things.
Today's presenting partner is our pals over at Desert Door Texas Soto. If you've been listening to New Slang for really any amount of time, you'll know that Desert Door is one of my all-time favorite premium, high-quality spirits. If you haven't or aren't sure what exactly a Soto is, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that's going to up the game on your liquor cabinet. For starters, the best reference point that I can point you to is to think about a tequila or a mezcal. Do you feel that Western desert, that Texas ruggedness? Okay, Soto is like that, but a little bit more refined, smooth, and fragrant. It intrigues the palate and offers these hints of vanilla and citrus. There's an earthiness that often sends me right back to my Trans-Pecos and far west Texas roots. There's plenty to love about Desert Door. For me, it all starts right there. A close second is just how versatile Desert Door really is. You can go full highbrow and experiment with concocting a variety of cocktails that call for muddling fresh fruit, sprigs of thyme, sticks of cinnamon. It's perfect for that world. If you're a little bit more down home, if you've just rolled up the sleeves of your denim Wrangler button-up, it's perfect for that as well. If you're just desiring something that's short and sweet, it hits the mark every time. Desert Door is genuine and authentically West Texan. It's inherently West Texan. They harvest Soto plants out in the wild and are knowledgeable conservationists at heart. That's obviously something incredibly important to me. They shine a light on what makes West Texas special and unique and worth preserving and keeping it safe from exploitation. Right now, you can find Desert Door all over Texas, Colorado, Tennessee, and there's budding numbers in places like New Mexico, Arizona, California, and Georgia. Best thing you can do is to check out desertdoor.com to find where Desert Door is locally. Again, that's desertdoor.com.
We'll get to the conversation in a minute, but first, if this is your first time listening to New Slang, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button over on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, this is episode 194, so if this is your first time listening, there's plenty of other episodes with guests that ought to pique your interest. Okay, I also feel like I'm beating a dead horse here because I've mentioned it the last handful of times, and I've obviously never really been that comfortable with self-promotion, but my debut book is coming out soon. It's called The Lubbock Way. It's about the Lubbock music scene circa 2015 to 2017. It was a short, rapid, and exciting time within the Lubbock timeline. It's stories and thoughts and maybe a little bit of insight on what happened and why. It's available for pre-order over in the merch store. I'd be eternally grateful if you ordered one or, 100 copies. And it is my birthday today, Friday, August 27th. And really the best birthday gift you can get me is by treating yourself to a copy of The Lubbock Way, a collection of wallflower vignettes. Any of the important links that I just mentioned there, they will be in the show notes. All right, let's get into it. Here is Drew and Andy of the Red Clay Strays.
You were telling me just a minute ago, or a couple of days ago, about some of y'all's latest trouble on the bus in Colorado. Obviously, we're doing this because on Zoom versus in person because of a little bit of trouble getting into Lubbock. But you said you guys have had a hell of a week after Lubbock, just because you guys felt like you were stuck in Colorado, which I'm sure there's not really worse places you can be.
It was great.
It was beautiful, at least.
Yeah.
Well, we were supposed to play in Brighton a couple days after we hung out with y'all and played with y'all, and we made it there and played to a county fair type deal, which was pretty cool. Oh, there's the fiance.
Hello.
So we made our way towards Grand Junction, and how far away did we get?
We were still a good couple hours out.
Yeah.
Well, the problem, we had to take an alternate route because I-70 had rock and mudslides. So the interstate shut down. And I think that's the easiest way to get through the Rockies. And so we actually had to take a more southern route and literally drive through the mountain range, up and down mountains all the way. And then I think we were still about an hour and a half out. I watched our elevation. I was driving at the time, go from 700 or 7,500, and it was at about 10,500, and it was still going up before the transmission just crapped out. And I was driving, you just hear it revving out, and it just nothing we could do on a very steep mountain
With no pull-off area.
Yeah, it was just, luckily where we were was a passing lane open. You know how they could do, and so we were in a safe place, I would say, but it was still sketchy.
Yeah.
We were in the wilderness.
Yeah. Well, that's the obviously you guys have this this bus that you guys have really worked on for all this damn time, but essentially basically, same time you guys have been in this band, and that's what I was going to ask right there is like who usually does the driving, who usually is like the one leading the charge in this this giant white beautiful band with homemade bunks in it and whatnot.
I'd probably do probably 50% or more of the driving, me and Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of the time no one really wants. I mean, driving's not the fun part. I enjoy it.
I think it depends on how much we break down too, because Brandon's the lead mechanic.
Yeah.
And the more that he's having to work on the bus, the less he's going to drive.
Yeah.
So Andy probably takes most of the haul. I'm third string, proud to say, whenever they're done or tired. I don't like driving, but I will drive. So
yeah, most places we go, it's really a two-man drive will get you there. And we'll usually, sometimes like on the way out, when we got fixed, I drove 10 hours in the day. Just wasn't bothering me. But, most places we'll drive usually about 3 hours max a piece, and usually we'll get where we need to go.
Yeah. Who's like the last person on the bench, like the last person tagged in? Who's like the last choice to be driving?
very last would be Zach.
The very last would be Zach. Yeah. I haven't seen Zach drive that bus in a couple of years.
We'd all have to be dead. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Zach would be the one. Zach would be our Artemis Pyle getting us out of getting us out of the bus wreck.
Yeah. There's always that one person in the bus or in the band who's like, it's not because of the enthusiasm behind their driving or anything like that. It's just their skills are so, maybe a little bit below average, where everyone just doesn't trust them behind the wheel. And
Zach's also the youngest too. That might be part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's a big ride, man. And
it's
a lot of.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
To start out with, it's very intimidating. But because we're not only in a big bus, we're also pulling a trailer behind it as well. So you kind of have to be mindful of where you are in your awareness on the road.
Right. You got to be mindful of all the surroundings there. And of course, like backing up in any kind of trailer situation, that's hectic.
Yeah. We've gotten
So-
pretty good at it though. Lots of practice. We can put that trailer just about anywhere we need
I'm
to.
still not good at it. I'm not good at it.
So when we get in some tight spots, like either I'll drive and Brandon's in the outside directing, or vice versa. So we can get in and get out of just about any situation.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back a second here. We'll take everyone, the listeners, back. The first time I saw y'all was in Lubbock at the Blue Light. You guys were playing a Tuesday show, and I don't know if you guys remember, but like I guess you guys had been booked there, and then Josh Abbott wanted to play like a surprise show. So he kind of like open, quote unquote, open for y'all, which really just pushed y'all back some. But it was one of those situations where I know for me and a couple other people around there who were at that show, you guys really just surprised the hell out of us because you guys were so damn good. And that was like the first time, like, every once in a while you come across bands that you kind of go, oh, I feel like I'm buying in on the ground level. I'm buying stock at like, penny stock because no one else knows about them in this area or anything like that. Fast forward through this past year of the pandemic, you guys had released a couple of songs the previous year, talking with a lot of different artists. This past year has been clearly difficult on everyone. It's not been ideal for y'all being such a young band. What other did you guys feel a little bit more pressure because of the pandemic, because it felt like you guys were not being able to really properly launch y'all's career off, and in ways that I know you guys had plans for, as far as, continuing to release music and getting out and playing more shows? What did y'all feel like the pandemic did to y'all as far as, the career goes? And, what kind of other obstacles did you feel like you had to overcome because of being, a really an up and coming band versus having that established ground?
We felt like it kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. You know what I mean? So it wasn't necessarily like we had taken off or anything, but we had a lot of good momentum happening, especially like right after we got that song in that movie. That was pretty cool. But then everything just kind of hit at once, and we started losing gigs and some really awesome festivals.
Yeah.
And, and you don't like to think about money when you're trying to make art and stuff like that, but we lost a lot that we weren't making a whole lot anyway. And, we just kind of, when everything started happening, you could feel that wind start to go. And then you just started understanding, all right, well, now we're in survival mode. What do we have to do to keep afloat and keep our business going? And just from then, we've just been kind of staying afloat and playing gigs where we can and staying as safe as possible, trying not to get COVID. We all got COVID at one point, but I guess we're really not even out of it yet, because of all the numbers going back up. But
we did have a big summer planned, and it definitely hurts when you see those big dates just starting to get pulled one at a time. And a lot of them talk about rescheduling, and it really never really happened. But we always just buckle down and find a way out, just like breaking down. Just keep going. We're not going to stop. So we all picked up little side gigs to get us through, and been hitting it hard ever since probably last September, last August. A lot of people that didn't cancel on us, we still drove up and did like a one-off, we did that in Omaha. We did it in Ohio. So like those people didn't cancel on us, so we still went and had a good time. So just hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, like I again, like talking with a lot of other artists, not that on this podcast, I just talk with people who are 20 years into their career or anything like that. But, a lot of those other people have had a record or two, and it felt like they had something to build off of that was, where this year was off. Okay, well, I was going to be in that record cycle of getting the next one out. So in a lot of ways, it felt like it was kind of a natural time for them. For y'all, though, like it did feel very much where you guys were going into these newer markets and trying to establish y'all's name. And then also at the same time, prepping something for a CD or a record to release. And, it felt like it basically was taking both of those places, both those channels, those avenues away. So, it's always one of those things where you kind of look at these bands and wonder how many bands, just kind of disappear out of after this year. And I'm glad like you guys have been, I'm glad you guys have been one of those that's been able to stick it out, because I think what y'all are doing is really, really great.
Yeah. And to go back on what you're talking about, those bands that had an album or two out, they have they still have something to stand on. And we're still in the process of just building a fan base, and it almost felt like it was almost restarting in some of the markets we were in.
Yeah.
Because some people just, there's nothing for them to take home after the show. So they almost kind of forget about you.
Like we got to a point in Omaha where we were playing like in front of a couple hundred people. And just ever since then, the numbers have just, it like he said, it's like been restarting all over again.
Yeah. And what else sucked was not only was the venues, we couldn't play in front of people, but the studios weren't allowing people to record either. So like you said, you're getting hit twice. It's like you literally have nothing to do except make Facebook videos. And then Facebook got mad that bands were making money off of Facebook. And it's just taking every platform you had from you, So.
This episode of New Slang is brought to you by the Blue Light Live here in Lubbock, Texas. Blue Light has long been the heart and soul of the Lubbock singer-songwriter scene and has been a home away from home for some of Texas, Americana, country, and rock and roll's finest over the years. Talk with 99.9% of the songwriters who have come out of Lubbock and the Panhandle at large over the past 20 years, and they'll point to just how integral and necessary the Blue Light is. With live music and touring slowly but surely coming back, spots like the Blue Light are getting back to their usual ways as well. That means music every night of the week. Do you want to see that schedule? Well, I've got a few options for you. 1, go to their socials and give them a follow. That is at Blue Light Live on Twitter, at The Blue Light Live on Instagram, and of course by just searching the Blue Light Live on Facebook. They're consistently posting that week's lineup of shows, as well as those heavy hitters that ought to be on your calendar that are coming up on the horizon. 2, check out bluelightlubbock.com as well. There they have the full schedule, the cover charges, time, any of those specials that may be happening. While there, go check out their merch page. They have a wide range of hats, koozies, hoodies, sweaters, beanies, jackets, and so much more. You can, of course, get all of your merch needs when you go see your favorite band take the stage at Blue Light. Just ask the bartender and they will get you all set. Speaking of which, that's another great way of seeing who's playing there. Just go to the Blue Light. It's at 1806 Buddy Holly Avenue here in Lubbock, Texas. And of course, again, that is bluelightlubbock.com. I'll throw a link into the show notes too. Maybe I'll see you there. Okay, let's get back to the show. Yeah, one of the things that was fucking crazy about Facebook was they were it would happen with artists who had like a big hit, but like not their own hit necessarily. Like they had written a song for so and so, but they have the songwriting credit, and then they would play it, and of course then it would get tagged because it's not their song. It's like Blake Shelton's song or something like that. And then it's like, well, no, it's my fucking song because like I'm the one who wrote it. And so they were getting where their feeds would be taken off and stuff like that, just because, quote unquote copyrights.
And it's not like you can just call Facebook and get that cleared up.
Yeah.
You know,
There's no customer.
there is no customer service.
Exactly. You mentioned, picking up side gigs and stuff, but what did you, I know like you guys clearly have like, enough material for a debut. Did you guys also just end up writing a whole bunch of more material during this time, or was that not necessarily like, on the on the front burner since you guys already have enough material, or what was y'all's take as far as the creative outlet and creating this past year?
It's kind of hard to create when you don't really have much road inspiration. I mean, you have love, and then you have your friends, and you have what you have around you. But for me, writing was almost harder, not having
experiences.
And not having the experience the experiences that you go out and see, like going out to Texas and seeing all the wildflowers on the side of the road that are nothing like Alabama, or like going to Colorado and breaking down on the side of a mountain and chilling out with the hippie commune, which we got to get back to that story later.
Talk about that one.
There was writing involved, but I wouldn't say it was it's not keepers. You know what I mean? You write songs and then you're like, yeah, that's good, but when you got a keeper, and there weren't a whole bunch of keepers, but there were some songs written for sure.
Yeah, and we did some rehearsing, not as much as we were expecting, but we all picked up. We all trying to pay bills, and at the end of the day, and we all had to pick up side hustles to keep us going. So, not as good as you would think it would have been.
Yeah,
with the writing and creativity.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting, obviously an interesting 14 months, 15, whatever months, 18 months, where I think a lot of people thought, oh, you give a songwriter, someone who is an artist that chunk of time to create, and that's like the best thing you can give them. And it's not really like, you can't just you can't give guys like you 15 months to like write, because like it's not like that, if you know what I mean, like, and I'm talking like 15 straight months. Like it's very, very difficult to consistently do that on a day-to-day basis throughout that period. Plus, like, as you mentioned, once you guys having to pick up other side jobs, it's hard to get you all on the same room, I'm assuming. What is it like? How has, like, since you guys are, pretty new as a band, what's it been like as far as the creative process when it comes to all five of you? Where do songs come from each of y'all? Do you guys all try and write for the group, or what's kind of like the creative process when it comes to the Red Clay Strays, and where do songs usually typically come from, and how do they adapt and evolve?
Well, between me and Matthew Coleman, which is Brandon's brother, we're really the only two writers. Brandon's written a song for us that's called Don't Care. It's a really good one, but that's pretty much the only one he's written. A lot of my songs that I come up with are just either experiences or strong feelings of usually the sad songs are the ones that, the strong feelings that I can come up with. Usually the sad songs are the ones that end up being good for me. But that's really it. Matthew's more of a storyteller. He can come up with just about anything. Like, he's also like a script writer, so he can just come up with any like, he could see somebody on the side of the road and come up with give him a whole backstory. Just make it up on the spot. I just really, what I come up, it's either a melody or lyrics, like the poetry itself, that come first, and I just kind of fit the puzzle pieces until they finally come together, and then I pitch it to the band, and usually I'll show Brandon, and if he likes it, or I'll show one of the guys, and if they like it, and we move along with it and just work it out the way that we know how to. And we hear parts in our heads that we go along with, or usually whoever's written the song has like the most creative control over it. Like if I hear something I don't like, then I'm going to be like, hey,
that's not what I was
that's
thinking.
not what I was thinking. Let's try something else. But if somebody else has something that's already better, then I'm just like, yeah, I like that. Let's keep rolling.
It's pretty cool to see the songs that like Drew sends me, the rough cuts that he recorded in his bedroom, and then what we get after a couple rehearsals is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see how much is added and changed with all our minds coming together. Even though we all don't, lyrically write the song.
Everybody's a part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like usually, in bands, it is either that one voice who's kind of like the dictator, or it is where you're open and where, yeah, I may be the one writing the lyrics or been the one who's the creative force behind it. But, this is a collaborative effort once I give it to everyone else to do their part, because, a lot of people are like, well, I'm the lead guitar player, or maybe I'm the vocalist only. I'm not the one coming up with the bass lines. I'm not coming up with the drum parts. I'm not coming up with, the vocal aspects of it. So it is a very much collaborative. And then of course you guys, you'll have every once in a while, you'll have the the dictator of a group or a band. And I think we can all point to or think of bands like that. But it's so what's been something that, like, when it comes to a song that you feel like you've seen blossom or change or morph in ways that you didn't necessarily expect once you introduced it to the band?
Like what's been a song?
Yeah. Like, do you have any examples of something that was like just that's changed or morphed over time, or like even in an instant that you didn't necessarily think that it was going to go that direction, but then it did, and like, of course, you're happy with it now?
Well, off the top of my head, I remember, was it Till Things Get Right? We never rehearsed it.
Oh,
and then Brandon was just like, hey, here's a new one. Let's try it at a show. And then we kind of looked at each other and then like, well, that was kind of cool. And then it progresses. It literally built itself from live performances. That one was pretty cool.
It hadn't changed much since that first time either. That's what was really cool about it. There's little things, that the listener really wouldn't be able to. I'm sure if they listen to it a few times, they would.
Your average
listener, if they're not listening to it, they probably wouldn't even know from the first to now. But there's been a ton that we've done to that it's just morphed into this whole thing, that even like you have the crowd yelling back like tight, 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 night, night, night. And
that was natural too. That was pretty weird.
But that's really the only one that was, and Matthew wrote that one, but that's like the only one that I've seen has morphed the way that it has.
Well, from my perspective, like hearing, like, again, like I said, hearing it from Drew's, like how Drew presents it, and then you add like Ghost.
Yeah.
Now, there's a piano in it now, and that really changes the whole vibe of the song from what it started at. So that's one that I remember that morphed quite a bit. So
it's always just going back to the other song, like you mentioned there, with the call and response, if you will. Like, did that come out of like someone within the band, or was that just something where you guys are playing and some random in the crowd kind of, where did, I guess, like that come from?
Yeah, it started with John would yell it, but we never told the crowd to do it. They just picked up on it. And then like when you get our fans that seen us for a while mixed in with some new people, the new people pick it up, pretty quick, and it's kind of weird because it started in Mobile, and a couple of places out of state have picked up on it, I guess from YouTube or something, some videos. So that's pretty weird. Atlanta was pretty wild.
Yeah.
When we played Eddie's Attic.
It felt like a Mobile show.
Yeah, it felt like it was a local show, dude. You could tell people were waiting for it, waiting to scream something back. So it's pretty cool to watch those little things that I would say the crowd picked up on. We never told them to do it. They just vibed off of John doing it, and it's kind of spreading on its own. It's pretty neat. People kind of paying attention, you know.
Yeah, it's not like Brandon kind of just breaks it down before the song starts.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, after we say tight or night, y'all do it. And they just kind of started doing it themselves.
Yeah, and there's obviously those venues that they're not in the know on that part yet, and they don't say anything, but John just keeps on doing it because it worked the first time.
Yeah, me and John will just scream it back there.
Yeah,
he'll do on the second go. He'll do woo at the very end, and me and him will do it together.
People's picking up on that too because that's kind of something he added on. Yeah. So it's been cool. It's cool to see the fans interact naturally.
Yeah, I figured it was that much, but I mean, like, it's almost kind of a mythical. It would have been hilarious if it was just some, old drunk man who heard y'all playing and started doing it, and then you guys were like, "Hey, let's implement that into the song."
Yeah. John's our crazy person.
Yeah, the crazy old man.
Yeah, he's our crazy drunk old man.
Yeah, he's our crazy drunk old man. He is old, and he is occasionally intoxicated. So.
This episode is in part brought to you by Charlie Stout Photography. Charlie Stout has long been a great buddy of mine, and for as long as I've known him, he's always had a good eye for ideas, for lines in a song, and notably, an eye for what makes a great photograph. Yes, we're gonna roll with that tried and true cliche about a great photographer having a good eye. But it's cliche for a reason. More often than not, it means it's true. Right now, I want y'all to head on over to charliestout.com to get an idea of what I'm talking about. While you're at it, go give him a follow on Instagram and Twitter at Charlie Stout. Right now, he has about 50 photographs for sale on charliestout.com, with a vast majority of those being landscapes and sky shots of West Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. The American Southwest, if you will. A lot of cacti and clouds, windmills and open roads, sunsets and stardust. He captures a lot of what I love about West Texas and these dry, arid climates. That's mainly that vast emptiness that can really make you feel small, the depth and the weight and the intensity, it's all in there. Right now, he's doing a special on his prints. Each week, he releases a new photo, and for 1 week only, that photograph is at a special introductory rate. For just $25, you'll get an 8.5 by 11. That's just about half off the regular price. For $75, you can get a 13 by 19, and for $110, you can get a 17 by 22. After the week, they go back to regular prices, which are still an absolute steal if you ask me. Also, just a pro tip, keep a watchful eye out on his Twitter. He's consistently posting one-offs, errors, and randoms on there that are for sale that are in the flash sale variety. Again, that is at Charlie Stout for Twitter and Instagram. Head on over to charliestout.com, grab a signed print, buy a record, get yourself some nature sounds and some nature shots. All right, let's get back to the episode.
As we mentioned before, you guys have a couple of singles out. You guys have a song on the Dr. Sleep soundtrack. I'm assuming you guys are planning on getting some more material out soon. What's kind of like the plan when it comes to hitting the studio and kind of getting something ready for release? What's going on in that department?
There's some legal stuff going on, but the plan is to be fully independent here in, I think, the very near future. And then we've tried a bunch of studios. We've got one where we've picked out, we're going to go give it a shot. But I mean, this is the first time it's really been on us. A lot of it was like trying to cut corners and cut costs, and it just doesn't work that way, But you got anything I don't know what to say and what we shouldn't say, but
we're planning on being in the studio very soon and releasing stuff on our own time.
Yeah.
With our own creative control.
Yeah.
And
the whole thing will be
us
from getting a publisher to
publicist.
Distribution. Yeah, publicist. And then,
publisher and publicist.
we're gonna do it the right way, but we're gonna do it on our own, and own every percent of it on ourselves. And then
We want to be the
at least-
machine.
yeah,
Our
we're
own
going to be our
machine.
own machine. But I think we're shooting for beginning of next year to have it ready to go.
Yeah. What, are you guys looking to stay home and do this, or are you guys looking, studio wise, even looking into Nashville or somewhere else, or what's kind of the consensus
North
there?
Yeah, go ahead.
North Alabama, like Muscle Shoals area, Huntsville.
Yeah, it's a very
Got
rich, obviously a very rich music area.
And if that doesn't work, then we're just going to keep trying.
Yeah,
dude.
there's a couple other ones we got in the back pocket. We've been kind of eyeing, but we've done the Nashville thing. That's really not on the list right now. I mean, we've been to a couple. We've been in Omni before, and I recorded with Abe Partridge. I don't know if you're familiar with him. We did it in what was the name of that studio? Remember?
I can't remember.
It was one of those Nashville basement studios. It didn't feel like you were in a basement, but it was in the bottom of this guy's house. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, for sure. I know that like a lot of people are obviously anticipating some music to buy and to listen and spin. I got all this vinyl back here. I need a red clay.
Oh, dude, vinyl will
record
have
right
that.
there.
That is a guarantee. Vinyl will be printed. So
Yeah. Well, that's exciting to listen or hear about. You mentioned Colorado Commune a minute ago. We need to go back to that.
Oh, I'm not being disrespectful.
They accept.
They know
it.
that they're hippies.
They call themselves river rats. They're hippies.
Yeah.
That's what the locals call them. So
Yeah. So, all right. So we got towed. We were stuck, very much stuck on the side of a mountain.
yeah, like a
And,
literal mountain.
Yeah.
Like you look up and it was 90 degrees.
All you could see
Scary.
was rocks. I mean, there were. I mean, if we would have stayed there long enough, a rock would have fell on us and crushed us and killed us. So we got towed
15,
to this.
yeah.
Yeah. About how long away?
We got a $1,500 tow at about to a town 45 minutes away from where we were in the wrong direction.
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista, yeah.
It's called Johnson's Village, I think.
Yeah.
And so we ended up at the only hotel that was open because apparently it's popping in Buena Vista.
Well, because the I-70 shut down, it's a cut through city at that point, a little cut through town. So the hotels are slap full.
Yeah. So the only hotel that was available there was, what was it called? Slackwater Inn?
Stillwater.
Slackwater Inn.
Very nice.
And it was, super
Not
nice.
cheap, but very nice.
They had a rafting company next door, and they had like a cafe and a Domino's, and that was all you could eat at in town. So we got pulled off there, and we stayed there for the night. We were like, all right, we need to get a game plan together, figure out what we're going to do, because we got it towed to a transmission shop, and they said, well, we're backed up for like 3 or 4 months, so there's no way that we're going to be able to work on it. We're like, well, damn. So Andy walked in the room the next day and said,
what did I say?
You were like, hey dudes, we got a game plan here.
Oh yeah. Well, to back up a little bit, it started off me and the transmission shop was across this little town. So me and Brandon walked about 40 minutes there and realized the guy was like, I can't touch it for a month. He said, I'm booked out. It's a transmission shop in the mountains, and it's the only one in like a 45-minute radius or until you get to Denver. And well, we started walking back, and we're thinking we're going to sit here and walk around town. It's going to take us 4 hours just to get around. So we just start hitchhiking. We're walking back. It seems like nice people here. We're walking out, thumbs out, and finally a guy picks us up, and his brother actually worked at that rafting adventure place next door to our hotel. And he said he's got a lot of buses like y'all's back there. Maybe ask him if he's got one, he's willing to sell. Well, we ended up talking to him, and he had one that he said has been sitting for 2 years that they haven't ran. And it just so happened to have a transmission rebuilt in it with less than 50 miles on it. So we kind of talked about it. Our only option was either that or drop the transmission and you haul it over to Denver, which was like 2.5, 3 hours away. And that would, that's going to cost a lot. So we decided to buy the bus, and he said he'll knock off another $1,000 if we play a show. So we start off, we had about 2 days. We start stripping this thing to the bone. I mean, we're not taking it with us. We're getting that. We dropped the transmission while Brandon and a couple of the other guys are doing transmission. Me and Drew and Zach are ripping every part we can get our hands on. We took headlights, the grill, the front bumper came off, tail lights, a back AC unit, everything we could get our hands on. We took the driving chair out because the mechanic shop next to them actually wanted the leftover motor because it's pretty hard to find a 7.3, let alone in a junkyard. But yeah, we ended up taking it apart and playing for them. And it's really weird. A lot of the kids are about our age, and they come in from like Virginia and a couple places around Colorado to do raft guides because they do it during the wintertime on the East Coast. And they live in, the campers you put on the back of a pickup truck, those crappy little campers. Well, they have like a trailer park full of them.
There's like 50 of them out there.
And that's where those kids live, and there's no AC or nothing. They live in them. And I mean, these are hippies. Hippies. We played a show, dude, and it was like we were playing some festival out in the woods, dude. They definitely partake in their fun.
So they did, like, when we played for them. Have you ever seen the festival shuffle that you see from hippies?
He's kind of sitting in one spot and
move their feet.
Yeah.
Very, very white people moving.
not a lot of soul in the movement.
No, there's not a lot of soul in
but it was like in between songs, they're still out there dancing. You just hear the gravel shuffling because they're still dancing in between songs. They were a good crowd though. We had a blast, but that helped us get out of Colorado just in time to make it to Mississippi. We didn't have much time to spare.
So really the greatest part of the story was the triumph over moving that transmission from one bus to another.
Yeah. On gravel. Like we didn't have a shot.
Gravel.
It was, the way we did it was we dropped it and we borrowed a jack. We had a 3-ton jack that jacked the front up, and then Drew ran ratchet straps around the frame for the back of it. So it's half suspended and half being jacked up. So we barely move it forward. We jack the front up. We ratchet the back up a little more and just inching it. It was quite an operation, and I think it surprised ourselves.
It took 3 days.
Well, it takes 3 days, but you figure out how to, because I mean that's a huge transmission. It's like
400 pounds.
This might be more than that.
Might be more than that.
It was heavy for 4 people to move, and we're laying underneath a freaking bus, bench pressing this thing up at some time. So it was triumphant for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's I mean, there's so many places I want to go with that story.
Ask away.
we have so many.
We have a lot more.
I mean, like I love the stripping of, like, we bought this bus, now we have to take everything from it because, like, let's not waste a moment or a piece of it.
You don't find those kind of buses like that. No. Strip parts off. Those are never in a junkyard.
Yeah. Too though, like, I mean, okay, like the commune, the raft guides. I feel like if you're a guide for any kind of thing, a ski guide, a raft guide, a fishing guide, you're cut from a different cloth. Like you're just a certain kind of a dude or a gal who just is like okay with the flow of things, you probably got a lot of like what are those sandals called? Like that strap on?
Yeah,
they all had their chacos on.
There's so many chacos, dude.
That's like the one brand loyalty thing. Like everything else is like, you can't have that. You can't be loyal to any other band because it's, the man and whatnot, except for that brand right there. That's like the one that's cool. The one okay brand. But
I'm surprised. I just don't understand why they're not on the deodorant game. That's the part I don't get.
Some of them are. We mean hippie out of the most respect.
Yeah, it's respect. I think they got a laugh out of it
because
they were nice people.
They were all so kind, and they were all offering so many things and
things we didn't need at the time. Oh man,
they gave us so many words of encouragement as we were trying to fix this thing, and they would walk by, and like even after the show, some dude, I can't even remember his name, but he came up underneath the bus while we were trying to put the transmission in, was like, hey, you guys need a hand? And like we were like, sure. So he laid a hand on it and helped us out, and he was like, guys, I just want to let you put his hand on one of our shoulders. It was like, I just want to let you know your music is making a difference. You're bringing people together, and almost almost I could almost feel tears coming. And
He was very, very. He meant it
he was very
on
meaningful.
another level. Yeah,
And just the people there were so nice.
they definitely showed you love. Like we'd see the same people walk by every morning, and they'd always stop by and pop their head under, see how things are going, and go on about their business. Well, we see them again in the afternoon when they come back off the river. So it was neat. We became a part of that little town for a little bit, and they became a part of us. It was norm. I hate to say it got normal for a minute, doing the same thing every day, waking up and hitting that little coffee shop.
Yeah, eating Domino's for dinner.
God, that's all there was Domino's.
3 or 4 days in a row.
Sick of Domino's.
I imagine so. Yeah, the Domino's. It's like, okay, like it's fine for, a dinner. Okay, we got some leftovers. Okay, a week straight, 10 days or whatever the case. Yeah, maybe
we
a little.
Stopped caring after a while. Just like,
yeah, just order it, man. Just order it. I'm starving.
Yeah,
we need something to eat. Just maybe just make it a flatbread this time. I don't
just
know.
Change it up somehow. Yeah, New York style, please. Get some vegetables. Something else that we what took adjusting was the atmosphere.
Dude,
like,
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, it was you literally because we're coastal. We are sea level.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10,000 feet in the air.
And I've got asthma, so I was like, there were moments where my heart was beating faster than I could keep up with. And it was just like,
you cannot catch your breath. It's so thin, and like if you jog across the parking lot,
you're done.
It's like you just ran a mile, and it dehydrates you because the air is so dry.
Right.
The humidity. We're fish. We're fish people.
Yeah, we're fish people.
And it just dries you out, and we were drinking gallons each a day, and just you could not get the dry mouth to go away.
No.
And it was a whole
dry mouth.
So,
yeah, I remember a couple years back, me and some family, we were staying like a week in Angel Fire, New Mexico, and it's like one of those like same kind of situations. You're up high in the mountains, just bringing groceries in, just everyday tasks where you're like, just where it's a little bit more strenuous, and you're like, holy shit, like okay, I just brought in like a case of water and some bags, and just going back from the car 3 times, you're kind of going, all right, now I got to take a break. Let me sit down for a second. Yeah. That elevation, it'll get you, and it'll get you quicker on the alcohol as well.
That's what we heard.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
what we heard.
We had a lady, they don't have Uber in the area. So we had to get there's like 3 or 4 drivers in the area who like are technically kind of taxis or whatever. And she gave us the rundown. She was like, you guys need to be drinking as much water as possible and drink even more. Okay. Because if you don't drink, you'll get altitude sickness. Is that what she said? High altitude sickness, and your brain will swell up and you'll die.
Yeah, when she said that, we didn't actually drink alcohol at all that whole time.
Oh no, I drank alcohol.
Oh no, we did. We
definitely drank.
We got boxes of Trulies. We're Truly people.
We're Trulies, White Claws. Out there working on the bus, you drink a few here and there. But by God, if you didn't drink water,
it dries you out even worse.
Yeah,
and we actually did some hiking too, because you got to do it in Colorado.
Yeah,
and dude, we like hiked in 3 miles. On our first trail. It was actually in Trinidad, so it's pretty far south, almost like New Mexico-ish. And dude, we were like, holy crap, we have to turn around and walk back up that mountain.
Oh, dude, where were we? What was that first place we went to? What was the name of it?
Trinidad.
Yeah. So we made it through Trinidad on one of the trails, and
started getting dark.
And we were like, all right, well, we need to go back. And Brandon's Brandon's
from the country he don't do trails. He walks through the woods.
Fine, let's just walk through the woods. I was like, no.
We already came across a rattlesnake and like a big mule deer buck.
Yeah.
I don't think we need
that was great.
I don't think we need to just trailblaze through this mountainside of Colorado that we have no idea what's there.
The rattlesnake scared the shit out of me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Their rattlesnakes are big and scary. It almost got John, dude. That was an aggressive rattlesnake. He came after John.
Yeah.
And was like actively trying to get John.
We were let's go around.
It got funky, but we just took trail out and we got back just as night was falling too. So we almost messed up in Colorado.
State troopers were waiting on us on the way back because we had parked illegally.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to. Yeah, they were trying to clear the park out, and there's 5 rednecks out in the woods.
They all had their arms. So we walked up on it. They all had their arms crossed when we got up there. Zach had stayed on the bus because he's not much of a hiker, and everybody was just like having their arms crossed when we got up there like this, and just I laughed because I thought it was a joke. And we got there and they were like, "Hey,
It was not a joke.
3 things, guys. You can't be here. You can't park in the location. We had some complaints that your van was making some bad smells and some bad sounds, and
Forgot where we were.
yeah, we were like,
Bad
"Oh,
smells.
so sorry."
Yeah, they don't like the diesel running. But it was, as a campsite, the people's got their generators and their trucks running. But yeah, they also gave us this thing that's like, I don't know how they do it down in the Southeast, but you're in the West now. Pay attention to the signs and follow the rules. We're like, okay,
all right.
Sorry. I guess we're
Easy,
just
guy.
uneducated down in the Southeast.
Yeah.
Gee,
We're just dumb.
we're just dumb Alabamians.
I want to break one more time to talk about our pals over at Desert Door and offer up a quick Thomas Mooney's cocktail minute. As I've said probably 100 times by now, by no means am I a seasoned mixologist or bartender, but these have been some of my Desert Door go-tos. For starters, let's just go with the tried and true ranch water. Pop the top off the Topo Chico, take a good swig, now pour in some Desert Door, and top it off by throwing in a few lime wedges. Never fails. This one, it's so simple it probably doesn't even count, but again, pretty foolproof. Do the exact same thing, but get you a Mexican Coca-Cola. I guess you can go with a regular one, but you're really cutting yourself short if you don't opt for the Mexican import variety. All right, here's the change-up you've been waiting for. Desert Door Sangria. This one is prime for when you have company coming over and you aren't wanting to just be over there making 6 different drinks at a time. What you'll need is some Desert Door, obviously, a bottle of red wine, honey, boiling water, apple cider vinegar, some cinnamon sticks, a couple of apples, and some thyme sprigs. I know, that may sound intimidating, but trust me, it's worth the prep, and honestly, it's pretty easy. For starters, get you a punch bowl, add that honey, those cinnamon sticks, and the boiling water together. Now you're going to want to stir that all up and let it cool down for about an hour or so. Remember, patience is a virtue. Once that's done, add some Desert Door and stir vigorously. Now add the wine, the cider, and the vinegar, and continue stirring until it's equally mixed. Now slice those apples up and toss them in. Put in those thyme sprigs as well. Now you can pour that over some ice and you have a mighty fine sangria. Chef's kiss. Anyway, those have been some of my favorite go-tos as of late. And remember, Desert Door is as versatile as vodka and more refined, smooth, complex, and intriguing than tequila. It's rich and balanced, and whether you decide to keep it simple or want to experiment, Desert Door is that perfect Texas spirit. There's plenty more recipes over at desertdoor.com as well. Check out the show notes for a link. All right, let's get back to the episode. I love that. The just the coastal elites out there in the on the West Coast right there.
They're proud of where they come from.
Oh yeah.
And I think they thought we were kind of
I'll tell you
dumb.
what, I didn't see any trash out there.
No, it was definitely
They keep
definitely a
Colorado
clean
beautiful.
state. It's definitely a clean state. Got to give them that. They take pride in their cities and towns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So other than those kind of stories right there of the, breakdowns and on the side of the road and hanging out with tour guides and whatnot, a lot of times when bands are starting out, you have all kinds of ridiculous stories because you're playing, 3-hour gigs on a Tuesday and, small town honky tonk bar or whatever. What other kind of cast of characters have made, memorable impressions on for good or for worse?
I remember
is there any good stories?
Oh, Kansas City's a good one. Do Kansas City, because the other one I was talking about is just your local crackhead.
We'll do the local crackhead too.
Yeah.
Batman, that was great.
Yeah, Batman was his name.
We got stuck in, so we were doing a run and I can't remember. It was a Midwest run, and we were doing Kansas City. It was one of the dates, and we were playing at this place,
Westport
Saloon, and we had broken down, like our turbo was going out.
It blew up. We blew the turbo out.
Yeah, so we were 30 minutes outside of town. I think this was like 2 years ago, and we had to get the dude who owned the venue to come give us a ride and tow our trailer just to get back, just get to the venue. And we, played our gig, and we had to stay up in there. They have an apartment on top that we stayed in for a couple of days, and they had the cheapest tequila you could find.
Oh gosh, it's plastic bottle.
My gosh, it was the yellow. I don't even. It's like what's the brand?
I can't
remember.
Zach got a hold of that.
Zach got a hold of it. He was drooling it by the end of the night. That kind of deal.
It had nothing else to do. We literally had to wait for Monday because everything was closed.
So eventually we had to hire a mobile mechanic, who we his name's Joe.
He called himself motherfucking Joe. He was a Marine.
So
Joe was a nutcase. He's cool.
Good guy. Definitely a nutcase.
Only one that helped us.
Kind of dude that believes that Hitler's still living in Argentina.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe. He's a good man. But he came in and fixed our turbo, but in order to connect the turbo to our exhaust.
Yeah, it has to have a V clamp.
Right.
And that's what we had to wait for, is to get that V clamp from the O'Reilly's. It came from their hub, their distribution center. So his idea was, there was a piece of lumber on the side of the road where we were, and he took it and pushed it down against the exhaust pipe to push it up into the turbo, and just wrapped it with exhaust tape, which is not like gas proof. And Brandon was like, Joe, you don't think that's going to catch on fire? I mean, that exhaust gets, pretty damn hot. It gets red hot. He's like, man, that piece of wood right there is treated. You see, it ain't rotten. It's treated. He said, treated wood ain't, it might smolder. He said, it might burn it a little bit. He said, it ain't going to catch on fire. So we were like, all right. So we started, we headed on out that night, and by God, that piece of wood caught on fire.
Yeah.
We had a bus fire. Yeah. Luckily we had the fire extinguisher, but.
So we had to pull the doghouse, or Brandon was going to pull the doghouse off, and said, hey, when we pull this doghouse off the front, it's going to catch oxygen and it's going to get big.
Yeah.
And Andy was right there, like, in the stance, ready to go.
And then Drew actually jumped off and saw it from underneath.
I said, hey, we're on fire.
Drew's out here saying, I see the fire. I go out there and I had the fire extinguisher, and luckily that thing was probably 10 years old, but she's still fired. I sprayed it, and when I sprayed it, it knocked that wood loose and blew it into the cab, like into the bus. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only one with the fire extinguisher, and there's 4 other rednecks yelling at me. So I go in there and I'm just cleaning house with this fire extinguisher, and we get it extinguished, and we just sat there like just sitting in our this
doing?
bus, and it's covered in exhaust. It's covered in extinguisher dust.
Yeah.
And that was one of the lowest points we've ever been. That was like, what are we doing?
Me and Zach woke up the next day with flies on our face, not even caring anymore, just not even trying to shoot the flies away. We were defeated enough just to just land on me, man. It's all right.
But the next day, me and Brandon walked to the O'Reilly's and got an Uber to the distribution and bought every V clamp they had in different sizes. And we got one that worked, and we hit the road, and we drove, I think it was about 16 hours straight to Knoxville from Kansas City. So
and we got there late, and Vinny told us, hey guys, we're not doing music anymore. And
we almost lost it.
I mean, I did lose it. I was like, no, we're playing, dude. I don't know if you understand what we had to go through to get here. We caught on fire. We drove 16 hours. We had to deal with motherfucking Joe. Like, what is it going to take? So he was like, sorry guys, we're not. We got to the back of the trailer and we started unloading.
And they're like, I don't know about
let's not play.
I'm kind of tired.
There were people there who were there to see us. So Brandon pulled out his acoustic and played a few songs.
And they made us some free pizzas and gave us some free beer. So we were happy. Moved on with the tour after that and kept on rolling. That was our first big breakdown. So now we got a couple of those under our belt. So we don't even freak out anymore. Like we something goes wrong, the bus is smoking or something. We just pop the hood, find the problem, fix it, and get on with it.
Yeah, you gotta have to have that perseverance, that experience, that veteran leadership right there. I feel like motherfucking Joe earned that motherfucking title for his name there.
There was a couple other titles we gave him in the bus on the way out, but yeah,
that's pretty good.
He earned that one. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it is.
So,
but then we had Batman. So I mean, all we have are really breakdown stories, man.
Yeah,
like, that's where you find the most interesting people.
They say you got to pay your dues, as when you start. We have paid a lot of dues, and we're just waiting for them dues to start paying off. And it doesn't seem like that's actually how that works. You just pay them your whole life, I think.
Yeah.
The one suggestion that I keep on seeing that's a constant in these breakdown stories that you need is a bicycle.
Dude, we've been talking about that, a bicycle or a little pit bike in the trailer, something to get us around on.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to upgrade trailers. We're trying to get one that's like good 2 feet longer, 14-footer.
And taller.
Actually, 4 feet.
Brandon keeps hitting his head on it.
Yeah, we talking about getting a little pocket bike, getting a little pit bike or something we can drive on the side of the road. But that thing will break down too, I'm sure, if it's in our hands. And you're really screwed.
Yeah. Then you guys are just like walking a bike, trying to find some parts for that.
Yeah. We got to fix this first, and then we can fix the bus. Dang.
Yeah.
Something else to break.
All right.
We get a lot of. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say we get a lot of hate on from our fans about our bus. And everybody keeps saying, because we post about it. What else we gonna post about? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, here we are, broke down again and whatever. And they're like, y'all need to buy a new bus. Let's start a GoFundMe for a new bus.
Yeah, I was trying to show off all these fantastic pictures that Carly took of us on the side. They're like, by God, get you another bus. Well, we bought another bus.
Yeah, we did. We stripped the shit out of it. But I mean, any buses break down. Someone's got to.
It's a fact.
Yeah, buses
it's
break
Dale
down.
Watson, man.
Yeah, and
I think right.
If we bought another bus, it just break down too. At least we know what parts we've been replacing. It's just a piece at a time. We'll have a new bus by the end of it.
Does this bus have a name?
The Breeze. That's when we bought it. We were driving it back from Louisiana. It didn't run when we bought it. The alternator was hooked up. It had a bad alternator in it, so we just kept switching car batteries out in it. And actually, so my dad went with us originally to buy it because we needed a ride out there because we were going to drive this thing home. It broke down with my dad. So my dad had to stay with us in the bus on the first night of owning it in an O'Reilly's parking lot. And it was in the middle of summer and it was hot. No, it was actually wintertime. It was wintertime because it was freezing cold. But then Zach's dad came back to when they drove the bus home, and he said he could see it where it used to say the Breeze on the back of it, like where they ripped the stickers off.
Yeah, it was like the Breeze Company
or a church or something.
Yeah.
But
we were like,
he kept his name.
That's Ronnie Van Zant trying to tell us something.
That's Skinnerd, man. So we kept the name. We're big Skinnerd fans, so it worked out for the best.
Yeah. I'm anticipating, 15 years down the line here when you guys do the conceptual record about the breakdowns of the bus. Just call the record The Breeze. Because I feel like everyone needs that record of the breakdowns.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's part of playing music on the road is breaking down. I mean, everybody's had to deal with it.
I've got at least 3 songs about breaking down that I've written.
Yeah.
Are the keepers? Nah, maybe not yet, but they're, work them up. They might be.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Batman 2 seconds ago.
Oh, yeah. What city was it?
We were like outside of Montgomery.
It was Alabama. This dude walked up to me and Zach. We were
a water pump, wasn't it?
It might have been the radiator. No, it wasn't the radiator.
I think it was one of the pumps. I can't remember.
Yeah, we broke something. But this dude walked up to us asking for a cigarette and stuff, and we ended up giving one. And I mean, we're sitting there broke down too, so we just start chit chatting with him. He gave us the whole rundown of the '80s crack epidemic and why he was a crackhead himself, but he was a pretty interesting character. He said they call him Batman. And that's pretty much the extent of that one. He was just a neighborhood crackhead that got a hold of the wrong stuff.
Sounded like he got in the right at one point in his life and then got back.
Yeah,
in
he
the
told
wrong.
us how jail was and all that stuff. So he was a character. He almost wouldn't leave after a little while.
We're like, all right, Batman,
Yeah,
we gotta go.
We gotta go now, buddy. We'll see you.
Yeah, I think he was wanting to hop on, just ride the back of it. That style. Okay, so this is something I find hilarious when it comes to it's a lot of times when it's outside of venue, the band's already loaded up, or you guys are in the process of loading up, and then there's maybe that homeless guy or some guy walking through and they are looking for a cigarette and they ask you for a cigarette. And of course, a lot of times even people will be like, oh, can I buy a cigarette for $1? That whole thing. And then you go, it's just a cigarette. Take one, take it. And they go, well, then can I have 2? And then you're like, no, like I was offering 1 for free, not like the half a pack, like how many times do you guys run into that kind of, the person who you give them an inch and they try and take a mile, countless number of probably those characters coming up.
Yeah, we've had that happen, and we try to, when we're on the road, we try to help people where we can. Like we'll find some folks like a truck stop that aren't, they're out there looking. And recently there was a couple that actually did need some help.
Yeah, and
we went in and we gave them a bunch of good stuff out of the truck stop. But I remember this one guy specifically. It was this older black guy came up to us and we were loaded up, and he was asking us about what we're doing, probably asking for a smoke. Then he started singing Skynyrd songs to us. Remember that?
I might have been asleep or something.
I think you were there, but we all just started singing Skynyrd songs together with this homeless dude that came up to us, and he was a really good singer. So, I mean, that's not really what you're talking about, but it's a cool story. This dude just wanted to sing some Skynyrd with a band. So,
dude, one more interesting character that we've met on the road. We were in Charlotte one time playing at this place called Thirsty Beaver. And this little kid came up to us.
Oh my God, this kid was
riding around on a scooter, bro.
He was like 13.
May have been 12.
Yeah.
Maybe like 11, 12, 13, something like that. And just like, what did he do? He was like offering us drugs or something.
He was selling crack rock.
I think
this little redheaded 13-year-old reminded me of John.
Yeah.
And this little kid, and I remember he was just riding around. He's running in and out of the bar. And I was like, how old are you, dude? And he's like, old enough to ride this scooter. He said, I hacked it. I said, how'd you hack that scooter? He said, I took somebody's credit card. I said, that ain't hacking it. That's stealing. And then he kept going to this old guy across the street, and he would hand him money. The dude would hand him some more crack, I guess. And he was walking around talking to people selling crack rock. I was like, we should just go over and beat this kid up.
Yeah.
Take his crack and leave, just so he gets a little taste of it. Being a little asshole kid. Needs his ass whooped.
The Thirsty Beaver. I've heard so many damn stories about the Thirsty Beaver.
That place is one of the coolest places to ever play. Do you know the story about them?
Yeah, I've heard the story because to give a little info on so on Clubhouse, like the app there for a while. And I'm sure you guys have run into this guy. His name is Jeff. I can't think of what his last name is, but he's from where's Thirsty Beaver at? South Carolina
Charlotte,
or North? Is it
Charlotte, North Carolina? Yeah.
Okay, so he's from around that area, and that's kind of like his go-to home bar. And so he's informed us on many a drunken night over like a 3-month period about the Thirsty Beaver and the story of it and kind of like the location. The location, I had to keep on looking it up on Google Maps and shit because it looks fucking ridiculous because of those apartments around it and stuff. But, yeah.
They were offered millions for their land and they didn't sell it. So it's like this big, beautiful, nice apartment complex, and it's literally they built a U around this little tiny dive bar. but it makes it super rad. And when we play there, dude, they just pack in your face. Like the owner keeps coming up and pushing monitors back to make you get tighter and tighter. We're literally standing on top of each other.
I mean, like I'm trying to play guitar and these people are
And Drew's at the doorway.
Like I'm on the doorway. Like I'm standing right next to the door and people are bumping into me as I'm playing guitar and they're trying to get into the bar.
And I mean, this place, and it's cool ass people that go there too. They have such a cool crowd. But we played there the first time. It was crowded, but it wasn't slammed. But the time, I think we played there 2 more times.
Yeah.
Dude, there are people standing on the bar because there's nowhere else to stand. It's this tiny little place and it's so much fun. Just loud rock and roll. They're freaking out. It's awesome.
By the looks of the photos, it looks very, very narrow but long.
It's a hallway.
Like
it's a freaking hallway.
I think like if you're looking at it from the front, you realize like, oh, there's maybe like 6 parking spots for like bikes, and that would be how
it's on the motorcycles. Yeah,
as it could be. Yeah,
we actually have to park a block down and tote our gear down the sidewalk to get in there. So, but if you ever find yourself in Charlotte, go check out the Thirsty Beaver. That place is pretty rad, especially if music's playing.
Yeah. They usually got some pretty good acts.
Yeah, they usually bring, and they don't. So the whole thing is you don't pay to get in, and they don't pay their bands. So everybody just tips. And he comes up to the microphone, the owner, and, stops the show and, gives a spiel about, we want to keep it like this where you don't have to pay a cover, but y'all make sure these boys get paid. They're all the way from Alabama and they will fill a tip bucket up. That place is really cool and it's got cool people going there.
Yeah, that sounds like it. And as, like I said, on Clubhouse, Jeff informed us on just who he had seen at the Thirsty Beaver before they were big people. And it was I crack up just because Jeff's storytelling style. You guys have probably met this guy at the Thirsty Beaver.
He's a Thirsty Beaver goer. We probably met him.
But anyways, yeah, it's been great talking with y'all. It's like I said at the very beginning, we tried to do this in person last time y'all were through. Hopefully we'll be able to do this when you guys got that record coming out next year. And yeah, it's been a wonderful time hearing all these damn stories about being broke down.
Yeah.
There'll be more.
Yeah, there's probably a whole episode more worth of it. Probably until the next time.
All right, that's it for this one. If you haven't checked out the Red Clay Strays just yet, go ahead and do so. Go check out our presenting partners over at Desert Door, Charlie Stout Photography, and the Blue Light Live. Be sure to go and check out the merch store. Order The Lubbock Way, my debut book. And yeah, I'll see you all next week for more episodes of New Slang.